Hello everyone, welcome to the WeChat account PP taking you across the ancient Greek myth. And my name is Pierre and my nickname is PP. So it's both okay for you to either call me Pierre or PP. And I'm creating this WeChat account to tell you some very interesting stories about the Greek mythology. And I'm gonna first talk about the purpose of me having this WeChat account. So the purpose is I love Greek myth and I'm really fond of it. So I want to share with you and pass on my great love for Greek myth, and maybe after a whole series of videos, you guys might be able to be in love and love this magnificent mythology. So there are like millions of hundreds of gods in the Greek myth. Like in the table here, there's like a whole bunch of them. We're not gonna go through all of them, but today I'm gonna tell you about the 12 most famous gods, the 12 Olympian gods. And the 12 Olympian gods are so famous, and they are the main gods of the Greek mythology. So they live in Greece in the palace in Mount Olympus. So that's why they are called Olympian gods. And the first I'm gonna talk about the god is this, Zeus. And Zeus is actually Lord of the sky and actually the king of all gods. And everyone has to listen to his word, and everyone has to obey his wills. And there's his weapons that make him the most powerful, the mightiest, is this. And this is actually a thunderbolt. And a thunderbolt is actually a cluster of lightning where Zeus can use clouds, thunder, or all sorts of very mighty things, and very powerful. And let me give you an example. Even a little tiny sparkle of lightning of Zeus may turn you into ash. So that's horrible it is. And Zeus got a bucket of hold this kind of lightning. So you can see how terrible he is. And second, I'm going to talk about a god which is a brother of Zeus, and he represents sea. He is Poseidon. Poseidon is one of my favorite gods, and he's actually the god of sea, lord of the sea, and he takes over the sea and he rules the sea. His weapon is actually this. Pretty strange, look like a fork, and this is the trident actually. A trident is a thing with three sharp pins, and comparing with forks got four sharp pins. So this is different. However, the trident, this is much more powerful. So you can take a look of the picture. So if the Poseidon struck the trident under the ground, it will be like a whole holes and whole cracks on the ground, and there will be an earthquake. And if Poseidon struck the ground, struck the sea, there will be like waves like mountain high, and it's really terrible. And it will be disastrous if Poseidon gets angry, and it will be like this. And next is not the 12 of Olympians, but is another brother of Zeus, which is Hades, Lord of the Dead. Lord of the Dead, and he's like one who take cares for the dead people. He's pretty gloomy and dark and somber. I don't quite like him, but his weapon is like the cap of invisibility, where people can be invisible when they wear them. Next is a wife of Zeus, a pretty beautiful goddess, and this is Hera, the queen of all the gods. And the peacock is her favorite bird and the king of all birds. Next is the sister of Hera, which is Demeter. This is Demeter, and Demeter is the goddess of a harvest. And the harvest means the things you eat and the things you get. And she is very useful, and without Demeter, we will have nothing to eat. Now let's move on to the children of Zeus and of the gods. The one that I like the most about the children of Zeus is Apollo. Apollo is the god of music, light, and prophecy, and medicine, and a lot of things. And he is so radiant with shines on his head, and it is so good to see him like this. And when talking about Apollo, there's an instrument that I want to share with you. This is a lyre, and Apollo can master this very well. And Apollo has a twin sister actually, and her name is called Artemis. And Artemis is goddess of hunt. And she shoots arrows, and she's actually the ancestress of all the hunters later. And to not be messed up, there's Helios, which is the sun itself, and the sun, see the bright sun. And it's actually, another one is Selene. And the moon is Selene, and the sun is Helios. However, Apollo represents the sun while Artemis represents the moon. They are different. Next is a very cool god, which is Ares. And Ares is actually the god of war. He is like not so good, but he's always in war. Against of Ares, there's another goddess which is called Athena. Athena is the goddess of wisdom, and I like her because her way of solving things using intelligence, using the brain. And another guy, another pretty old god, which is having a hammer in his hand and is like trying to hit a sword, and his is Hephaestus. Hephaestus is the god of smith and fire, and his wife is the beauty queen, and the beauty queen's name is called Aphrodite. Aphrodite is the goddess of love and is also one of the 12 Olympians. That's amazing. Love is always included. They have a lovely children that is called Eros, and is often referred today as Cupid. Cupid is actually the little love god which is shooting arrows of love. And this is a picture of Cupid, pretty cute, and I like this. And last but not least is Hermes, the messengers of the god. And he got wings on his head, wings on his shoes, and wings on his staff. And he flies very fast, and he's the god of messengers and thief and merchant. Last but not least is the god of wine. And he is actually Dionysus. And Dionysus is the inventor of wine that we drink. And I actually tasted some wine, and wine is good. And thanks for Dionysus and the invention of the wine. So that is all for the 12 Olympian gods. And if you like my ways of telling Greek mythology, you can subscribe me and keep watching the next video. We are gonna be telling some very interesting stories, and do remember those 12 Olympian gods. They are really important, and they are the main connection of whole stories. And until the next time, we'll see you again. Bye bye.